Welcome back to our summer series all about how to start a teacher business from scratch. I'm so excited for today's episode because I get this question a lot. How do I create products or resources that actually sell? So if you've missed the first two episodes, make sure you go back and listen to those because I talk about why I love creating educational resources and selling them on Teachers Pay Teachers. And I think it's the perfect first side hustle for pretty much any teacher, unless you are just anti-creating educational resources and you want to create some other type of product. I think TPT is your best option. I talked about why in the last episode. So today I'm going to specifically talk about what characteristics make a product on TPT, a teacher resource, sell like hotcakes. And this is coming from someone who has a top 1% store. I've made almost $300,000 from TPT. I make consistently $4,000 to $5,000 every single month, other than summers where it's more like $2,000. Let's talk about what makes a resource high quality so that you'll actually get repeat buyers, because that's something that is really important with TPT and I feel like it's not talked about enough. Usually people go to Teachers Pay Teachers, and by people I mean teachers, tutors, homeschool parents, and they are searching for a specific skill or topic like CBC sight words games or high school geometry notes. Probably even more specific than that. So special right triangles activity or special right triangles worksheet. So people are looking to solve an immediate need. Your resource needs to solve an immediate problem. It needs to be aligned to a specific skill. It needs to be aligned to a specific standard or concept. So when you are thinking about what you're going to create, make sure that it's aligned with whatever teachers are actually needing. And to me, the best way to do that is to create what you've actually taught. I get this question a lot. Can I create a TPT store if I've never been a teacher? And there are no rules against that. Like there are no TPT rules against that. So yes, technically you can. However, I truly believe that you need some touch point with education in order to truly create quality resources. And so think about, what have you actually taught? Or what are you teaching right now? Or what is your favorite thing to teach? Now, I don't necessarily think you need to be a current teacher in the classroom. You can be a retired teacher. You could have taught in the past. You could be a parapro or a tutor or a homeschool parent, but you need some type of educational experience to know what is high quality, to know how to align a resource to a specific standard or skill. And that's where I would start. So for me personally, my story is when I started my TPT store, I started creating a lot of notes and worksheets for high school geometry because I was teaching high school geometry and we did not have a textbook. So it was very easy for me to create those because I personally needed those. And so I knew what my actual students needed, and it really translated to so many other students across the US and the world, meaning my students were either lower level or on level. I did have some honor students, but the resources that I created were for those lower level or on level students. And so many other teachers were needing that. They did not have adequate resources for students that might be struggling with math. And those students deserve high quality resources. You guys know that. And so because I created those, then I got a lot of repeat buyers. So people were purchasing one set of notes and worksheets and they saw that it worked well in their classroom. The students enjoyed it. It was print and go. It was easy to use. There were answer keys and video lessons. And so they came back and bought other notes and worksheet sets, or they came back and bought a full unit or a full curriculum. And those bundles and higher ticket items are really where the money is made, at least for me. And I see that a lot with other sellers as well. So you need to make a product that solves a specific problem. So what problems are you personally facing? Do you need more differentiated types of resources? Do you need resources for morning meetings? Do you need more reading passages for middle school and questions to go along with those reading passages? Think about what you personally need as a teacher, homeschool parent, tutor, and then make it easy to use. Make it as simple and easy to use as possible. I feel like sometimes teachers who sell on TPT feel like they need to make something really complicated in order for it to be high quality. I don't think that is the case. Now, I'm not saying that you can't make something, more complicated that maybe takes a little more work, but just be really explicit in your description, in your previews that like, this is not print and go. I wouldn't say that, but don't say it's print and go if it's not print and go. I see that a lot. Make sure to be clear about how this resource can be used, what the teacher needs to do in order to use this resource. Are there supplies they need to use this resource? So I'm thinking like, for an escape room, that's not a print and go type of activity. Do they need to purchase things on Amazon in order to complete this escape room? So you can make those more complicated resources, but make it clear for the teacher exactly how they should use it. Now, on the other hand, you don't want to go too simple. I see this a lot. You don't want to create like one worksheet and put that on TBT. One worksheet is not enough to charge for, in my opinion, because with pricing products, I think it's okay to have dollar products, and that can be kind of like a strategy that you're using. Not everything should be $1, but you can have like a dollar spot in your store. But typically you want to try to hit $3 or more, because if someone's overall cart value is less than $3, then you get charged an extra fee. It's not something that I would stress about. It's not something that you're like, I have to have everything that's $3. If you look at my store, not everything is $3, and it's fine. But you want to create like a bundle of worksheets, and don't just make worksheets to make worksheets. Like, what are these worksheets for? Now, if you want some super easy print and go worksheets for a sub notebook or a sub lesson, then that's what the theme should be. Like, this is for sub work. If you're out and you want something easy to print and go, here are, 20 different worksheets that you can use. In fact, when I was a teacher in the beginning of the year, we had to submit a sub book to our assistant principal in case we had an emergency and we were out for an extended period of time. Then they could go and grab that sub book. It already had like all of the worksheets that we needed, and I purchased a lot of things from TPT for that sub book because it was print and go. It was things that the kids didn't need my help with. So that can be something that you do, but make every resource like that. You want to think about, is this worksheet solving a problem, and what problem is that? So for me, my best sellers are actually my notes and worksheets. I don't know if you guys know the software CUDA. If you're a high school math teacher or middle school math teacher, you probably do. CUDA is this software that we all used to use, and it's just like rote skill and drill worksheets, and there isn't really a lot of thought that goes into those. That's not what my worksheets are about. My worksheets follow my guided notes. So the guided notes are really where the value comes in. It is explaining exactly how to master a concept in geometry or algebra 1, and then the practice marries perfectly with what they just learned. And then I also have video lessons. I have answer keys. So I make it as easy as possible for a teacher to use. And actually, when I started adding the video lessons, that was a game changer. So that could be something that you think about if that makes sense for the types of resources that you're creating. And I know I'm going to get asked this, so let me just quickly take a little side note as to how I do my video lessons. So I will take the PDF guided notes. I will airdrop them to my iPad. I make my notes and worksheets on an iMac, so I just airdrop them. You could also just email them or put them in Google Drive and grab them from there. And then on my iPad, I upload them to Notability, and then I use my Apple Pencil. And as I am filling in the notes, I am talking it through like I would talk through a lesson to my own students. And that's another reason why I think it's so important that I have that classroom experience, because I know where students are going to trip up or what's going to confuse them. So I go back and, say, okay, this might be a little confusing. Let's look at this again. And that's what I'm saying in the lesson. So the video lessons are really something that a teacher could send home with a student who is sick, or if they did have a sub, they could display that video lesson on the board. And so I hook my USB mic to my iPad using a dongle. It's like a USB to whatever you use to plug in your phone, plug in your iPad. It's one of those dongles, which just connects one type of thing to another type of thing. I'm explaining this really poorly, but hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. And I turn on my mic, and then I screen record on my iPad. So I have Notability open. I have my mic on. I swipe down from the top, I click screen record, I make sure that the sound is on, my mic is on, and I just record. It's me teaching that actual lesson. I don't do all the practice, I just do the one, maybe sometimes 2 pages of notes, and then I upload those videos to YouTube. Previously, I actually had them as unlisted, and so it was kind of like, oh, you're getting these videos, but you have to purchase to get the videos. Then I actually changed my mind, and now they're all public, and I have the link to the actual lesson in the caption of the video. So if a teacher is searching, special right triangles lesson, my video pops up, and it shows me, teaching that. But then it also says, if you want to grab these notes and worksheets, here's the link. I just started doing that, so I don't really have data on if I'm making more sales. But video lessons are a great way to make your resource more high quality. A few other things about making your resource high quality. you want to get some proper training on how to make the resource look professional. So like, what programs are you using? I love PowerPoint and I love Canva. Both of those have really easy options for making sure that everything is aligned. All of your pictures are in a straight line. It's not kind of like things are everywhere on the page. There's an align tool. There is an arrange tool. Use those to make sure that everything is neat. I also use a lot of tables in my resources to have students put their work in that specific square in the table so it's not all over the paper. And that can really work for, I feel like, any subject or grade level, to have tables to kind of separate questions. It also just helps students that are maybe easily distracted or need some accommodations. Those tables really helped a lot of my kids just compartmentalize, okay, I'm on this question, I'm saying in this box, this is what I'm looking at right now. So you want to make sure that your resources look high quality, they look professional. You're not overdoing it with the fonts or the clip art. Even for lower grades, like clip art is great and fun fonts are awesome, but make sure that the fonts are legible, especially for lower grades, and you don't have to overdo it with the clip art. 1 to 2 pieces is plenty to make it look high quality. And get some inspiration. Don't ever copy, but kind of see like what your competition is on Teachers Pay Teachers. Research your grade level, your subject area, and see the top sellers, so the ones that have the most reviews. What do their resources look like and what kind of format are they using? Another thing that might help you as far as knowing what's going to sell. When I first started, I did not just start with notes and worksheets. I made a bunch of different things. I made a lot of classroom decor for some reason, even though I did not decorate my classroom that much. I mean, I made it cute, but anyway, I was making like banners and bulletin board stuff, and those did not sell at all. And so I realized after looking at my data, I had made all these different kinds of things. I realized that my notes and worksheets were selling the best, so I made more of those. So it may be that you create a variety of different types of things based on what you're teaching right now or what your favorite thing to teach is. And you give it 3-4 months and you look at your data. TBT has great data inside their dashboard, and see what is selling the best, what has the best conversion rate, and what is your biggest earners. And then can you make that into a product line and then a bundle? A product line just means like all the notes and worksheets for geometry, and then you can bundle everything in one product line. And those bundles, like I was talking about, that's where you can get higher cart values, which means more money for you. So I would start with one thing today. If you're like, okay, this is a lot of information, what is one thing that you can try to make today? Is it what you're teaching right now? I know you're listening to this probably during the summer, so you're not teaching. So what's your favorite thing to teach throughout the year? What's your favorite grade level and favorite thing to teach? Because if you're excited about it, it's easier to create resources around that. And another thing that I did that helped me make resources more quickly was I batched by topic. So as I was making notes and worksheets for geometry, I started just making notes and worksheets for a variety of different topics. And then I realized, okay, while I am making this right triangle trig notes and worksheet set, those problems are fresh on my mind. Let me make some activities to go with that. And then I started making units. So I have like a right triangle trig unit. So I would make the right triangle trig notes in the video lessons and the answer keys. Then I would make right triangle trig task cards. Then I would make quizzes. Then I would make some posters. Then I would make a unit test. And that for me made it easier to churn out resources more quickly without losing the quality. Sometimes I see teachers that are just trying to upload as much as possible as fast as possible, and the quality isn't there. So be careful with that. But it might help if you make multiple different resources around the same topic, and then you can bundle by topic. So like a 3rd grade reading bundle or a 7th grade life science unit. So that is something that you could try. You could also try to batch by type of resource. So if your mazes are selling really well or you enjoy making mazes, then make a variety of mazes. Another thing that you can do to make your resource more high quality is make differentiated versions, because I would not just put one maze up by itself. I don't think. For my mazes personally, I have the printable and the digital version together, and that's $1. So if you want to make a higher value resource, you can make 3 or 4 different mazes and differentiate them. So like a lower level, a middle level, a high level, an extra high level, and put all of that into one resource. And that is really going to help those teachers that their principals are saying you need to differentiate. You need to make sure that differentiation is in your lesson plan. It's like, hey, I'm differentiating with these 4 types of mazes, and I have, given my kids the maze that suits them the best. And there you go. So anything that you can do to make it easier for teachers to really emphasize the value and not just throw up a worksheet is going to help your resources sell better. All right, I hope this was helpful. If you want to know all about how to make high quality resources and how to make sure they sell, then you need to join my free challenge. We are starting next week on Monday. So make sure that you save your seat. It is free. It's going to be so much fun. Thousands of teachers from around the world always sign up every summer. You can join at lindsaybowden.com/challenge. That's lindsaybowden.com/challenge.